Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." These words hold the key to understanding one of life's greatest mysteries, why so few people ever reach their full potential. Most of us have ideas, dreams, and plans, but only a small fraction, the rare few, ever turn those ideas into reality. Why? Because there's a simple mental test that almost everyone fails, and Tesla understood it better than anyone else. It's not a test of intelligence. It's not about education, money, or talent. It's about mental control, the ability to focus your mind on one purpose long enough for it to manifest in the real world. Tesla's entire life was a living example of this power. He was not just an inventor. He was a man who could see entire machines in his imagination, rotating in his mind, with every moving part working flawlessly. He once said, "Before I construct a device, I run it in my mind. If it operates as I conceived it, I build it. If not, I make improvements in my mind first." This was his simple test. Can your mind hold one thought with perfect clarity until it becomes real? Most people can't. They are distracted, impatient, and driven by noise instead of focus. Tesla understood that the human mind is like a transmitter and receiver of energy. Every thought we think emits a frequency. Every emotion we feel sends out a vibration. The stronger and clearer the signal, the more powerful its effect on reality. But here's the catch. Most people never learn to control their signal. Their minds jump from one thing to another, scattering their mental energy like static noise. That's why Tesla said, "The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power." So, what is this simple test that 90% of people fail? It's the test of sustained focus, the ability to hold a single purpose in your mind without being broken by distraction, doubt, or fear. In the modern world, attention is the rarest currency. Our minds are constantly bombarded by information, advertisements, opinions, and endless noise. We live in a state of mental overload, where silence feels uncomfortable and focus feels impossible. Yet, Tesla thrived on silence. He called solitude the birthplace of ideas. He once said, "Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born." Tesla knew that the mind must be still before it can be powerful. And this is where most people fail the test. They never learn to be alone with their thoughts long enough to hear their own truth. When was the last time you sat in silence without your phone, without music, without distraction, and simply observed your mind? Most people can't do it for more than a few minutes. Their minds crave stimulation. But Tesla trained his mind to go deeper. In that stillness, he could visualize entire inventions, solve complex equations, and understand the laws of energy long before anyone else. He lived by one core principle. The outside world is a reflection of the inner one. Change your frequency, and your reality changes with it. But if your frequency is scattered, if your thoughts are weak, inconsistent, and unfocused, then your results will be the same. Tesla saw the mind as a laboratory, a sacred space where ideas are shaped before they ever touch the physical world. He treated imagination as a tool of creation, not a fantasy. He believed that everything that exists began as a thought, vibrating at a specific frequency. That's why focus was his ultimate discipline, because focus determines frequency, and frequency determines manifestation. Now, let's look at why most people fail this simple test. It's not because they lack intelligence, it's because they lack direction. They wake up each day reacting instead of creating, letting external events dictate their internal state. Their minds are like mirrors, reflecting everything around them but generating nothing of their own. Tesla's mind was the opposite. He didn't react. He generated. He used his imagination not as escape, but as construction. His thoughts were blueprints, and his emotions were the power source that fueled them. He was deliberate with his energy, never wasting it on envy, anger, or fear. He once said, "If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world." That line carries deep truth. Emotion is energy, and most people waste it. Instead of directing it toward creation, they burn it on frustration, gossip, and negativity. Tesla's test, then, is this: can you control your emotional frequency long enough to keep your vision pure? Most people can't, because the moment doubt enters the mind, the frequency changes. Doubt is interference. It disrupts the signal of creation. That's why so many ideas die before they're born. Not because they're impossible, but because the person holding them loses belief too soon. Tesla never doubted his vision, even when the world laughed at him. He worked in isolation, often misunderstood, often broke, yet never broken. His confidence didn't come from ego. It came from alignment with truth. He knew the laws of energy could not fail, only people could. He trusted the process. He once said, "The present is theirs. The future, for which I really worked, is mine." And indeed, history proved him right. But there's another layer to his wisdom. One that reveals why mental mastery is so rare. Tesla believed that every human being is born with immense potential, but that potential is trapped beneath layers of noise, emotion, and false beliefs. The simple test is not about intellect, it's about purity of focus. Can you keep your inner signal strong despite the interference of the world? When people try to manifest success, they often fail because their thoughts are divided. One day they believe, the next they doubt. One moment they act, the next they procrastinate. This constant switching weakens the vibration, like turning a radio dial back and forth, never staying long enough on one frequency to hear the music clearly. Tesla, on the other hand, tuned his mental dial and left it there. He believed unwaveringly in his ideas, even when no one else did. That's why his mind became one of the most powerful transmitters of human history. He didn't just dream of energy, he became one with it. He could sense magnetic fields, visualize electricity flowing through space, and even claim to have communicated with forces beyond ordinary perception. Whether you believe that or not, what matters is this: Tesla's mind was disciplined enough to reach levels of focus that most humans will never experience. Now imagine applying even a fraction of that mental clarity to your own life. What could you achieve if you gave your full attention, your undivided frequency, to one goal for a year? That's the essence of Tesla's wisdom. He wasn't teaching science alone, he was teaching mastery. He wanted people to understand that the mind is the greatest machine ever created, and that most people never learn how to operate it. He once observed, "The individual is ephemeral. Races and nations come and pass away, but man remains." What he meant was that energy, human thought, transcends time. Every great invention, every breakthrough, begins in the invisible realm of thought before becoming physical reality. Tesla's philosophy mirrors ancient spiritual truths. Thought creates energy. Energy creates form. When your thoughts are clear, consistent, and infused with emotion, they generate power. When your thoughts are chaotic, they cancel each other out. That's why he considered focus not just a mental tool, but a moral responsibility. Because focused minds create progress. Scattered minds create chaos. So, how can you pass Tesla's simple test? Start with silence. Silence is not the absence of sound. It's the presence of power. It's the mental space where you can observe your thoughts without reacting to them. Most people fear silence because it reveals the truth about how unfocused they really are. But if you can sit still, breathe deeply, and watch your thoughts like clouds passing by, you begin to take control. From there, set a clear intention. Decide what you want to create, not vaguely, but specifically. The mind needs precision. Tesla didn't think, "I want to invent something." He visualized the exact mechanism, the shape, the function, the purpose. He didn't wish, he knew. Then, feed that intention daily. Every time you think of your goal, imagine it vividly. See it as already real. Feel the emotions of having achieved it. The more clearly you hold that image, the stronger the frequency becomes. Finally, protect your energy. Avoid draining conversations, toxic environments, and anything that scatters your focus. Tesla rarely socialized, not because he disliked people, but because he valued his energy. He once said, "Let the future tell the truth, and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments." He didn't argue or seek validation. He let his results speak. That is the essence of mental power, quiet certainty. In the end, this simple test, the test of sustained focus, determines who thrives and who fades. The world rewards those who can hold their vision longer than others can hold their doubts. Tesla's life reminds us that the human mind is a limitless force, when properly directed. We all possess this power, but few of us cultivate it. Most people spend their lives broadcasting weak, chaotic signals, worrying about the past, fearing the future, and doubting their own worth. But those who pass Tesla's test, those who focus, visualize, and align their energy, become creators of their own reality. Remember his timeless lesson. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. He wasn't just talking about machines, he was talking about you, about the unseen power within the human mind, waiting to be understood and unleashed. So, the next time you feel lost or unfocused, remember Tesla's challenge. Silence the noise. Choose one purpose. Hold it in your mind with unshakable belief. Because once your thoughts, emotions, and actions align on the same frequency, the universe cannot help but respond. Most people fail this test because they never try to master their minds. But you can choose differently. You can become part of the 10% who do. Focus, visualize, believe. That's how Nikola Tesla thought. That's how creators shape reality. And that's how you, by mastering your own mind, can unlock the true power that's been inside you all along.